Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Alright, so in this video I'm going to be talking about the Jhin versus Lucian. Alright, so this matchup is interesting and I'll begin to explain a little bit more in depth about the early game. Alright, so let's skip to the early game. Alright, so here in the early game / lane phase, you want to play this one really safe. Unless you know your support is amazing and is going to protect you from literally everything, I would not recommend you go aggressive in this lane. Lucian will out DPS you early game and out trade you because of his mobility and ability to keep up with you. Your kiting with your crits and stuff will not be enough early game, so don't try and go into long extended fights with Lucian. Another thing you want to watch out for is his Q. So what Lucians can do is with minions they can Q you through it. So if they're good enough and they know what they're doing, they'll Q and hit you as well as the minion they're trying to kill. This can stack up. I mean, it's not too much damage early game, but it can stack up, and he can eventually all-in you with his support if he gets enough Qs off. Alright, so how to beat him early game. So, for example, you see what I'm doing here? I'm just trying to out-farm him. That's your main goal in this lane. Because what happens is as soon as you get your Youmuu's Ghostblade and you've out-farmed him, you need to look to try and out-DPS him. Because if you haven't died yet and you bought your Youmuu's Ghostblade, and when you have Youmuu's Ghostblade, you're already really strong. I wouldn't actually, not really strong, you're decently strong. You've hit one of your power spikes. So, when you hit your Youmuu's Ghostblade, you just want to wait for your support to land CC or go for trades like a Q fourth shot trade. And you see I did kill him here, but this was because I knew that my support was good. So now back to the Youmuu's Ghostblade. So Youmuu's Ghostblade, the reason why this is such a good power spike for you against Lucian is because of the movement speed. So you get the fourth shot crit plus the movement speed that Youmuu's Ghostblade gives you. This makes it so that you can kite Lucian effectively and get away from trades if needed. Another way that you can out-trade Lucian early game is by using Ws. So either if he's pushed you out of lane using Ws to farm, or just using Ws to poke him, like asking your support to auto attack or cast a poke ability. Like for example, if Morgana, let's say, you could ask her to either land a Q or just do her little pool so that you can land a W stun and get extra damage off onto the Lucian, and wait for a jungler gank. Another thing you want to watch out for in this lane is his ultimate. I mean, this is pretty obvious, but you really don't want to face tank 25 Lucian ult shots. That is just like insane asking for death right there. Because Lucian's ultimate, it may not be the highest damage early game because he doesn't have Black Cleaver yet, but you really do need to watch out for it because it can do upwards of about 600 damage, and early game, that's, as you can see at level 4, that's my entire HP bar. But I'm pretty sure at like level 6 you'll be 800, 830, 850 HP maybe, around there at level 6 if you guys have hit the same level. But if he hits 6 before you, you need to back off, because when he gets ultimate, Lucians usually look to go and dive you with their support, because that way they have all their abilities ready and they can stack their double shots, which by level 6 they should probably almost have either a Bork, or if they're rushing Cleaver, almost have Cleaver, or if they're going lethality, then they'll have Youmuu's Ghostblade, or if they're just going with the regular crit build, they'll almost have Essence Reaver, which is cooldown reduction. Another thing you need to watch out for too is the Lucian build. So if you look at the Lucian build, they all have their different strengths. So if a Lucian is rushing Bork, you want to watch out because he'll have more lifesteal and a bit of attack speed to get his combos off faster. And if he's rushing Cleaver, then you want to watch out for his ultimate at level 6. And his ability to shred, because early game you don't really have a lot of armor, but if he takes away that tiny bit of armor, it makes a huge difference. It may not seem like it, but he'll be dealing a lot of damage to you. Another build is the Essence Reaver build. So watch out for this one. He doesn't have a lot of crit, so it'll be difficult for him to be able to get his mana back, but he still gets that 20%, so he'll have his mana being regened. And also the Essence Reaver gives him about, I think it's 10% CDR. So he'll be able to cast his ability slightly faster, able to get more DPS off. So you want to watch out for the traits. Alright, so that's it for the early game, and let's move on to the mid game. Alright, so now let's talk about Jhin's mid game. So mid game versus Lucian, you can start to feel the strength of you overpowering Lucian. Lucian at this point is starting to hit his power spike because he has Cleaver, or if he's building the crit build, he has Essence Reaver Rapid Fire or Essence Reaver IE if he decides to do that. This should not alarm you because you can still out DPS him. The thing is, he can also out DPS you if he outplays you. And if the Lucian's good, he could probably out DPS you at this point. But the good thing about Jhin is that he is a crit champion and he can scale harder than Lucian. The thing about Lucian is he's only good early game and mid game. Once you get to late game, he does damage, but he doesn't do as much as you'd want. So if you just group with your team and either focus the Lucian down or focus the other person who's either stronger on their team or, you know, less stronger. So you can shut down the Lucian, making it so that he can't kill you or any of the teammates with his full burst combo, with all of his double autos put into his combo. Doing this by shutting down the Lucian, by killing him, and like using your ultimate to be able to pick him off in team fights. This is how you counter him in mid game / late game team fights. Because in the mid game you'll be sort of team fighting, it'll be like 3v, 3v4, 4v3, 5v5 sometimes, 2v2s, all that type of stuff. That's what the mid game is all. So if you use your ultimate at this point to kill Lucian in the back line while the front line is killing your front line, you'll be able to pick off his damage, which is at this point at its highest, and that's one thing you need to watch out for. His ultimate though at this point, another thing you need to watch out for. His ultimate is very strong at this point. His ultimate can pretty much shred your tankiest tank from almost 100 HP to 0. That's how strong his ultimate is at this point, depending on how fed he is during the game. Another thing you want to watch out for in this mid-game area is how slippery the Lucian is. Lucian can get away from a lot of things, especially if he can get a lot of double auto attacks off. And he can also get his way out of your ultimate very easily because of his dashes. So if he just dashes to dodge one of your ultimate shots, since the slow on your ultimate shot has been reduced to 0.5 seconds, it doesn't last as long, and it won't really make a difference if you land one shot. He'll still get out of it because of his dash. That's one thing you want to watch out for. His dashes, his ultimate, and the fact that he's hit his strongest point in the game. That's mostly it for the mid game. Let's move on to the late game. Alright, so late game things get a little tricky and situational. So the situations are, if he builds the Bork Cleaver build, then he is not as strong as this point and is only looking to use his ultimate and his Cleaver Shred on his auto attacks. But if he's built crit, he's looking to DPS down hard all the squishies on the team. So the first build is mostly looking to get his double shots off on the tank and his ultimate to shred through the tanks originally to get the full amount of cleaver stacks on. But the crit build is all about waiting for the team fight to go and then dashing behind the enemy team to the back line and killing you and the mage, let's say. So in this game, I had a Cassiopeia mid lane, so she would be the mage. Lucian would be diving me and Cassiopeia to try and one-shot us with crit build. Most Lucians don't try and do this in lower ELO, but in higher ELO they'll start to do it. Another thing you want to watch out for at late game is Lucian's ability to get around in team fights. Like, you should sort of treat Lucian late game like a Master Yi sort of cleanup character. Lucian doesn't do as much damage, but he does deal a good enough damage to be able to be the cleanup character in this sort of setup late game. He can clean up very hard because of his dash mobility and the resets on his dash from the double autos. And if the enemy team gets the first kill, Lucian will pretty much clean up the fight. This is mostly the only thing late game that you want to worry about, but as Jhin, you don't really need to worry about it too much, because if he is such a big problem, you'll get Guardian Angel, and if he isn't a problem, well, he's not a problem. You could just kite him out with your auto attacks and all the crit that you've already got, since you should already have an IE and a rapid fire cannon at this point, and have most of your crit going already. Alright guys, that's going to be the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe and hit the bell button if you want to see more content.
Put our trust in things and this material world.